Well, this summer is definitely the season of 3D with movies like Thor, Green Lantern, and Harry Potter heading to the theaters. But you don't have to leave the house to get the 3D effect anymore. Can you see right there? Now you can bring them into your own home. New product trend reporter and senior editor of BehindTheBuy.com, David Gregg, is here to tell us all we need to know about 3D TVs before you go out and buy one. Good to have you back.
Great to be here, Audrey.
I can imagine your house. Probably got all these electronics in there and everything is just the right thing to have, right?
I'm like the shoemaker's child, though. I don't have this stuff. I just talk about it.
Okay, you just talk about it. There's
me.
a lot to talk about, though, in terms of 3D technology. Different types, I get confused by all of them. What's the biggest difference between them?
Well, the fact is, as you said, there are different types. There are two primary types. There's the passive and there's also active type 3D technology. And there is a major difference between the two because when a person goes to a movie theater, they're looking to get immersed in the whole experience of seeing a 3D movie. And they use a technology called passive.
That's passive.
That's called passive.
Okay.
However, let's first talk about active because that's the one that most consumers are familiar with. It uses those clunky, really heavy glasses. They use batteries. They have to sync up, so you have to be within a certain range of the television for it to work. So there's a limited range as far as the viewing angles.
Okay.
And so there are
a little more involved with getting that.
Definite limitations, and it's just not as good of a viewing experience. Then there's passive. And let's just pick up these glasses for a second because you'll notice these are very lightweight. They do not have a battery to make them work.
Right.
And they look exactly like the glasses that you use at a professional theater, a cinema experience. We have a television that's right to your side there. It's from LG. It is their Cinema 3D TV, and this is passive technology. So if you put these glasses on, and if I could invite you to put...
Here, I'll do, it looks like sunglasses.
Yeah, exactly.
Sunglasses.
Look like they're light, they're comfortable.
Oh my God.
And do you notice that that picture is just popping out at you? You're getting a crisp, bright picture that's totally immersive and looks exactly like the whole theater experience that you get when you see a 3D movie in a professional cinema. And more importantly, I was going to say, with those active shutter glasses, they're on the average of about $100. You get a package of 2 of these if you want it. You get included when you buy a television from LG, but more importantly, if you want to buy an extra package so everybody that comes over to watch 3D movies, only $25.
Really?
So much less money.
And then it's not like you can easily break these glasses. I mean, they look like they're sturdy enough where if someone accidentally steps on them, you still got them. Okay.
Correct.
Do you need a special player to view these movies?
Well, you mentioned earlier, you got Harry Potter coming out, Captain America, and also Pirates of the Caribbean. When those movies come out to consumers, they're going to come out on a 3D Blu-ray disc. So the answer to that question is yes. Underneath that LG TV, the Cinema 3D TV, notice you have a 3D Blu-ray player.
Right.
So you do need a 3D Blu-ray player if you're going to use a 3D TV.
Oh,
so that is the answer to your question with that.
And then what kind of content is available out there?
This is really the upcoming July 4th season, the big first blockbuster season of lots of 3D titles coming to the market. Also, we've heard about ESPN coming out with a 3D channel, and many other cable broadcasters are going to be delivering 3D content. So you're going to see over the course of the next year lots of 3D. The early acceptors have already purchased their 3D sets, and maybe they got the old technology that I was talking about active.
Right. Now
the passive stuff is coming out, more content. So now's really the time to jump in.
We've been talking a lot about individual products, but overall, what's going to be the average cost of going 3D in your home? Is it very expensive?
This LG set right here from their 3D series, Cinema 3D series, I should say, is just under $1,700 for a 47-inch set. They go upwards in price of about probably in the $2,000 range if you want to go as large as 55 inches, so they've come way, way down. Another point that I do want to make, however, is preference or consumer preference. And it's important that people realize that there was a survey that came out that showed that 80% of the individuals on this independent survey preferred passive technology, specifically the LG sets, over all of the other manufacturers.
Well, just from what you showed me there, I can understand why.
Thank you
so much, David. Good to have you back. You can get more information on BehindTheBuy.com. Make sure you check it out.